Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Telling It Like It Is. My name is Jade Alberts, the founder of Peer Guidance. We guide, listen, and connect small business startups and entrepreneurs. Sharing knowledge and stories is why I started Telling It Like It Is. It is live. If you have any questions, please ask. If you're watching this after the fact, ask your questions. They will get answered. I would like to thank COVID Continuity for their sponsorship. They are a community of digitally connected, like-minded leaders and champions who believe in the power of collaborating to support the recovery of our local global economies. Today's guests are Jamie Smith and Jesse Ferguson, the founders of Amplify Advisors. Guys, thank you for joining me, and how are you today?
Thanks for having us. It's been a good day so far.
A good day, a rainy day. I know we had a little discussion before, and I always like to say how we met. And I met your director of business development, Tyler. Whether it was, I think it was at a rainforest meeting, and then he connected us. And I love your guys' business model. So I mean, that's definitely how we met. And Jamie, you and I had a little call after, and then obviously Jesse, we're just meeting here. So I'm so glad that you guys agreed to come on and tell your story.
Well, we appreciate the opportunity, and you've been doing a great job on these videos over the COVID period and before. So we're happy to be part of it.
No, I am glad. So what I'll do is I'll give a brief introduction for you guys in Amplify, and then we will we'll get after it. So, as I said, they are the co-founders of Amplify Advisors. Amplify is an accounting consulting firm that provides CFO services and financial leadership to small, medium businesses. It also places CPAs and finance leaders in all size companies, as well as consulting project work with accounting and finance functions. Both have worked in Big Four firms previously, as well as holding finance leadership roles in various industries. Jesse has a background in hockey and continues to support as coach with his 2 children. He is married to a physician and serves as one of Amplify's clients, Glacier, as their fractional CFO. Jamie also has 2 children that are in hockey, baseball, and golf. She is married to an IT professional and is a fractional CFO for Amplify's clients, Bear Hill. So both obviously have a great, strong background in working in the Big Four. And obviously, I love the fact, and I deal in that small business, that there's a lot of people that are scared to hire, don't have the money. So working with something like you guys can be such a benefit for them, kind of like what Good Lawyer is doing, offering legal advice. So, please share your story, how you started Amplify.
Thanks, Jade. So as you mentioned, both of us worked at Big Four, and we worked together actually at Deloitte. And so while we were at Deloitte, we had an opportunity to look at a business plan that they were exploring for Canada, which was successful in Europe and some other countries. And that business plan is the first of many drafts. We've obviously evolved it and changed it quite a bit. But that draft business plan is very much conceptually what Amplify does. And we decided to leave Deloitte because we wanted to focus on the small, medium businesses. We had a passion for helping business owners, and the fact that those businesses are such big employers in our community. And we left Deloitte on great terms. We get a ton of business from Deloitte. I was on a book club last night with one of my Deloitte partner mentors, and we're very friendly and happy that we had the chance to meet and learn so much while we were there. But we wanted to focus on a different market than what the Big Four focuses on. So we went off on our own. Jesse, what did I miss on that story?
No, that was great. Yeah, I mean, I guess previous to being at Deloitte, I was a CFO of a medium-sized business as well that had its challenges, but I found that once the challenges were kind of, I guess, dealt with, my time there was actually not really needed on a 40-hour work week. And that also kind of played a part in terms of, understanding that, what are the specific activities that actually clients need within that fractional CFO, and figuring out how to properly put people in. So, yeah.
No, I mean, that is interesting. And as I said, I think that is something that is that is so needed in today's world. Everybody's just like, oh, find an accountant or go get an accountant. But a lot of times when you go to accountant, which are needed, and I have mine and I love them, but they don't get that actual business advice that they need, or that guidance or mentorship. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And I'm a big fan of these companies, the small businesses, contracting out, because they don't need to fork over the money. So, please explain how your process works and how you recruit people to work with you as your clients. And obviously, how do you recruit, the people that you're going to place into these small and medium businesses?
Yeah. So to your point, the small, medium businesses that are growing, they need the forward-thinking, forecasting, strategic perspective of a finance leader, but they don't have 40, 50 hours worth of CFO work yet. They're just not at that size, and they absolutely aren't ready to commit to a $200,000+ salary of a full-time CFO. So we're trying to bring the best of the big and that level of expertise to support growth, but at a scalable and affordable level. And it's a popular business market or business plan in other countries and other regions, but it's fairly new to Calgary, besides having a few solopreneurs and a couple other shops that do it. And so we really felt that the small, medium businesses, you're right, they've got a huge market of tax accountants that do great work with them. And there's always been a good selection of bookkeepers in Calgary that do great work, but there hasn't been someone that's doing the oversight of the full finance accounting at that CFO level. So it's been an exciting opportunity to start that and be part of that market. In terms of how we get clients, we're actually 100% referral-based business right now. As you mentioned, Tyler is our business development sales manager, so he's actively trying to change that because we'd like to get eyeballs on our businesses and and the value proposition that we have. But to date, we grew. We had $300,000 more than our budget last year, and we were 100% referral. And so we get our clients from other clients, from lawyers, from bankers, and frankly, from accountants. 50% of our revenue last year came from other accountants referring us. So whether they referred it to their neighbor or referred it to a client, we received a lot of our referrals from other accountants. And because we've had the opportunity to work with such a great group of CPAs, they trust us and they refer work to us. And that brings us to the next point that you asked, how do we get people to do the work? And it really is, 15+ years of investing in the CPA network. And we have really, really great candidates because we've worked with a lot of them, or they've been referred to us by either, we get a lot of referrals from PwC that I did 10 years with, Deloitte, other Big Four firms. So we get really good access to amazing CPAs quickly. And that's just from pre-COVID, attending a lot of accounting events and staying in that market and socializing and maybe being a bit of a geek where all your friends are accountants. It gives you access to amazing people. And the CFOs that we put on clients are full-time employees. So we're currently with a staff of 10, and we pay generally at least 20 people each month. So 10 are permanent, 3 others are contractors that are always with us, and 7 others come and go ad hoc. Jesse, what else do we have to add on how we recruit clients and people?
No, you hit it all there. In terms of the candidates, I think what differentiates us from others in the market is that, and this can be a negative in terms of perception as well, is that the majority of our people have been CFOs of fairly sizable companies in Calgary, which I consider, a huge benefit, that they're taking that knowledge and experience and scaling it down to our clients. With that said, that can be also, I guess a little bit of a fear that, they're too big for me type of thing. And what I tell all of our current clients and prospective clients is, at the end of the day, accounting's accounting. if you really enjoy, our people really enjoy just business and helping business owners realize their own dreams. So, you know, I think it's always a hurdle to at least talk about, but you know, what we find is the quality we're making, the difference we're making in our clients once we actually do onboard with them, and we know it's working. So we're happy about that.
No, that's great. Again, I'm talking with Jamie Smith and Jesse Ferguson, the founders of Amplify Advisors. Their website is in the comment section, so you can just click on it and it'll take you directly to their website. So speaking of the onboarding, how does that process work once you get a client?
So when we have an opportunity to work with a client, depending on what level they select, we have a couple levels of assistance in the small medium business area. Our core value proposition is that weekly fractional CFO, and in that case, we are taking the job of CFO all the way from signing authority, executive on the team, integrating into the culture, showing up face-to-face if you're a face-to-face organization. So we're really everything a CFO would do. We just happen to not be full-time. That's our ultimate package that is the best for companies that are 1 to 5 million. We also offer fractional controllers. So if you have a CFO that's retiring, or if you don't think that you need help with strategy and forecasting and forward-thinking accounting, we have fractional controllers, so lower level month-end compliance and traditional accounting. We have accounting services, which is very much bookkeeping and record keeping that we offer clients. And we also have financial leadership. So financial leadership is often the first contract we will have with clients, because that's more of a monthly one. So in that case, it's more coaching and advisory. We're not on the client enough to take over the finance function in terms of daily cash flow and daily payments and daily oversight, but we're definitely there to oversee the function and provide that strategic lens and work with you to figure out the priorities. So with all those packages, the approach doesn't change that much. First and foremost, we put on a team member that is going to integrate and be excited to work within your team. So I always say, as the CFO of a brewery and distillery, if I wasn't willing to stay for happy hour, I'm not the right CFO, right? And no one's going to judge you if you want to leave at 4 o'clock and run home to your kids. That's obviously an amazing choice that some of our finance leaders might make, but they wouldn't be a good fit for a brewery that does all their decision making at happy hour. So we're very conscious of culture and fit. And then from there, we work with all the stakeholders, be it the chief operating officer, the equivalent, the CEO, other people in operations, and we find out, where's finance and accounting now? Where's the business now? Where does it want to go? And what are the priorities and the roadmap to get us there? And that's what drives how we approach the engagement once we agree on those priorities and the timeline to get us there. We've been working a lot on our finance leader operating model and our approach and our methodology, because we are very scripted in how we provide tools to our CPAs so they can be more efficient and do it the Amplify way with client experience and our values first of mind. And Jesse's actually done most of the heavy lifting on that, so he can add some color to what we've done from an operating model.
Yeah, I mean, if I look at the fractional CFO and really all the packages, most of our people, if they had 40 hours a week, they're all trained, they're all able to execute the job and be successful. For the most of them, it's their first time actually being kind of in a fractional basis where they have 6, 7, 8, 9 clients, depending on obviously the split of that breakup. So what we've been really focused on is really applying kind of a best practices consulting approach in with our kind of accounting approach. So what does that mean? It means really being disciplined around priorities, communication with the client in terms of what we're going to be working on making sure we have alignment that these are the biggest priorities that are going to make the most amount of impact. And usually that means bottom line cash in the business, return on equity, and then obviously like risk mitigation in terms of, you know, if we have a client that's looking to expand maybe into a new location, ensuring that, you know, that contract is favorable to our client, and making sure we've done appropriate cash flow analysis supports long-term growth within the business. And then a big thing is just ensuring that the balance sheet is well capitalized to be able to fund growth. Too many clients oftentimes make growth decisions that are good decisions, but then all of a sudden it's chewing up all their cash flow. So now they have to make really poor business decisions because they have to be short-sighted in terms of whether it's, you know, going after receivables and ruining relationships because you need that extra, you know, 1,000, 2,000, whatever that number is that you're in a pinch on. So just kind of helping our clients work a little bit more smartly up front and prioritizing those whatever those things are. And every client's going to have different priorities based on their unique situation. So, yeah.
No, absolutely. Again, I'm talking with Jamie and Jesse, the founders of Amplify Advisors. AmplifyAdvisors.ca is their website. You can click on it in the comments section. So I guess my next question for you guys is, obviously, you know, we do the same thing with peer guidance, obviously on a different type of thing. And then we would say, okay, if you need a CFO, here's what you should do. Is there any industries that you don't work in, or do you find yourself in certain industries? And I guess, well, you know, there's times that I sit down with people and I said, you know what, you actually don't need my help. You guys are doing well. You should maybe go talk to this person, or away you go. Is that something that once you kind of do a little business review of them, you recommend?
Yeah. So, I mean, one of our propositions is connector, right? So there's many cases where we would be connecting prospects or even current clients with other service providers. So we're definitely not going to pretend to be able to do everything, or to, you know, to be a generalist. We're very candid about where our value proposition is. And our value proposition is with growth clients, right? So in terms of what industries we wouldn't work with, there's no industries that we wouldn't work with, but we're not in the business of wrapping up a business or keeping a business stable. So I always use the analogy that if you're running a corner shop and you're doing a great job and you just need your finance function to like get it done, then we're probably not the right fit for you, because you're not opening another location, you're not going online, like you don't have growth plans, right? So that wouldn't be an ideal fit for us, because our value proposition is our client experience, which is growth oriented, forward thinking, and helping you with those new products, new services, new locations, new pivots. And that's where we really shine and where people get the most value from working with us. And our CPAs are different than other accountants because they're not focused on tax and costs and look back. They're very much focused on growth and giving the business owners the confidence to make good business decisions. In terms of industries, we play in a lot of industries right now, but a lot of our clients eventually need to raise money. So we're very careful with confidentiality. So for example, if you're the CFO of a marketing company, so Jesse's the CFO of a marketing company, he would never be the CFO of another marketing company, because we wouldn't want to be sitting in front of a private equity or an investor and not feel authentic in representing that company within that industry. And similarly, there can be confidential information that is competitive information that you need to know as a CFO, and you don't want to know it about the competitors. So we do have we have multiple clients in certain industries, and each of those would have a different CFO.
Anything to add to that, Jesse?
Yeah, I guess just to touch on what Jamie was saying about, growth and everything like that. I would say that for me, the number one thing that I see with our clients is when you get into more complexity, whether it's foreign currency, whether it's operating outside of your Calgary region, generally speaking, that's just going to create a whole another level of challenges within your business that, no different than Amplify, for example. Right now, we're focused obviously on growing Calgary. As we look to expand to other Western Canadian cities over the next 1 to 2 years, that's going to have another level of complexity and challenges that are separate from our existing kind of startup challenges that I would say are not less complex, but different and more under control, I would say, overall. So, helping the majority of our clients are kind of out of that initial stage, or they're kind of, I guess, moving through that initial stage, which that financial leadership package really is great for. But where our fractional CFO package comes in is really where they're moving in that next stage and moving into a more complex business environment and, rules and regulations and banking and all this stuff. It just, you're going from being able to manage your business on a cash basis to, I have tons of receivables and tons of payables, and now I have my balance sheet to leverage. And most of our clients, that's where they're kind of throw their hands up and say, I just can't do it anymore. So yeah.
Well, you kind of touched on my next question when you said that you want to expand. So what is next for Amplify Advisors?
So right now, given the work from home, we have taken, one of the pivots has been that we have started looking at other cities a little more seriously because everybody's working from home anyways. So the face-to-face proposition isn't as front and center as it used to be. So we're definitely looking at other cities. Vancouver and Edmonton are probably the most likely cities that we go into next. So that's on the agenda. I spoke here a lot about our small and medium business service lines with the finance leader. The accounting services and the bookkeeping edition is actually relatively new for us. And it was a hard decision as to whether or not to bring that in-house, but because we're not in the market to displace bookkeepers or frankly even to displace CFOs. That's not at all what we do. We want to amplify teams and work with teams. But we did find that a lot of our clients needed that bookkeeping service and that the finance leaders needed some quality consistency. So we now have that as an alternative. So that's brand new, really. And it's been exciting building that up and setting up automation and processes there. We're also looking at, we have the recruiting arm, we call it Connector. And thus far, we've never been strategic about how we place CPAs. We've always just had an amazing list of candidates and random opportunities dropped in our lap. And it's all been luck, and we've done a really good job of it. And I think we need to take it from luck to strategy. And so that's definitely on the list as well. So there's more than enough choices, and it's the prioritization and picking what's next that we struggle through our quarterly meetings because we try and stay disciplined, and I think for the most part we do that, but there's lots of possibilities. Jesse, what did I miss on that, or did you change the priorities last night?
Priorities change every day.
They sure do.
Listen to the market. No, I mean, in terms of our growth, I think we're getting very close to really having our business model finalized and nailed, and it's been a great opportunity to start testing other markets in terms of demand to see if there's the same response that we have in Calgary. Yeah. That we've only been in business just over 2 years, and I never would have thought that we would be at where we're at today versus where we thought we'd be today. So the growth and the response from the market has been really, really amazing, and so really starting to capitalize on other regions outside of here and putting together an organizational structure that will support and enable that growth in other regions is definitely a focus. And then, there's some other opportunities even outside of accounting and finance in regards to fractional sales and marketing support that we've been, I guess, looking at peripherally, but really focused at the end of the day right now on growth in our core services and expanding those both in Calgary and then obviously across Western Canada and potentially further in the future. Nice. That's exciting. Expansion is always exciting to me anyway. I like that.
Well, it's been interesting because we did a lot of hiring over the COVID period, and I kept it a bit quiet because I wanted to be empathetic and just not be tone deaf because so many of us are struggling, and as I mentioned, we are definitely struggling in some of our service lines right now, quite severely. But we've also had the opportunity to hire and to grow and to take advantage of some pivots and some some time to sit and put some effort into services that we just were running off our feet and not having a chance to do. And it's always interesting being a business owner serving business owners, because the same challenges that our clients have are the ones that Jesse and I face. And sometimes we learn from our clients, and sometimes we recently went through it together, and then top that off with the formal training of Deloitte and PwC and stuff. It's fun. Every day is really fun because there's no lack of opportunities for either ourselves or our clients. So.
No, absolutely. So getting to my last question, maybe we'll start with you, Jesse. If you had one piece of advice for a small business startup, what would that be?
I would say probably, there's 2 stages to a business when you're starting it. It's really one, validating your products and services that you have, and I talk to business owners often that don't truly spend enough time actually validating that market response. They kind of organically start getting some sales and they just think they have a business, and probably leave a little bit off on the table in terms of refinement of that and delivery model of that and pricing of that and all that things. And then once you actually, I guess move out of that stage, once you've figured that out, I would say the advice would be figure out your strategy and how you're going to win, and stick to that strategy in terms of a certain time period, and then from a numbers perspective, measure your strategy, i.e. put a scoreboard up and make sure that you're keeping track of it, whether you're winning or not. So there's too many clients that we walk into that are running great businesses, but essentially have the headlights off in terms of where they're going.
No doubt. Jamie?
Yeah, I was thinking about this last night, actually, and I might have to do too as well. Jesse mentioned one that I was thinking was worth bringing up, and that's that market response. And I would, what I'd also say is, not to be black and white, but the saying that we talk about is, if you make money off your first client, you're doing something wrong. You should have left a penny on the table. And the reality is, businesses, don't perfect it and then sell it and lose money and learn from that client. And I can tell you that the first 2 clients that we got, as you can imagine, are the 2 that we're CFOs for, and we've learned more and gained more from them than arguably they've gained from us. And So that market response and that refinement through an actual client is awesome. And whether you make money or not shouldn't be a factor for those first clients. And then the second item that I would suggest, and I think it's paid off for us at Amplify, and I've seen it pay off for a lot of our clients, is, you know, we were diligent about what is our client experience and what are our values. And, you know, when we first started doing that, it was kind of like, my one client has the saying, it's like playing house, right? So it's like Jesse and I in this pretend business with values and a client experience. And it's like, why do we have this? We already know each other. Nobody works for us. We don't have clients. So it was more just like, oh, it's like coloring and it's pretty. But so it kind of, at times it can feel silly when you're starting. But honestly, if you're not intentional about your culture, you will end up with a culture regardless. So either be intentional, have an approach, and then bring people into the culture that fit and that amplify what you're trying to create. Because the alternative is you end up with a culture and you're the leader of a culture and it might not represent your values and it might not represent your client experience. So you have a choice, and either way, you're going to end up with the client experience methodology and you're going to end up with a culture and you're going to end up with values. So either pick them ahead of time or go with the flow is what I say. And I think it's made a huge difference in our ability to serve clients and create a great team.
No, that's great advice. I agree with all of it. It's so true on, you know, when you have to pick a culture and make sure you move forward. And I always say, you know, you got to be in control of your own destiny, whether that be culture, whether it be finances, marketing, anything in business. You have to be in control of your story. Otherwise, someone else is, and that usually doesn't end well. So that's definitely great advice. I really do appreciate you guys, Jamie, Jesse, for coming on and sharing your story and your knowledge today. And I am grateful for it, and I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for everything you're doing in the business community in Calgary and beyond, and for giving us a chance to be part of that.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, if anybody has want any more information on Amplify Advisors, you can go right to the comment section, click on their website, and it will take you there. So again, Jamie, Jesse, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and we will chat soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jade.
All right.